Okay, last class we discussed the angular impulse. So here the body receives the angular impulse because of torque due to normal reaction or torque due to frictional force also. Okay, we observed two examples in yesterday. Okay, now today we have to observe what is the whenever the collision takes place between the particle and the uniform rod. In such case, how does the angular momentum of the rod changes, or what is the angular impulse received by the rod due to collision between the particle and the uniform rod? So we have to discuss today. Let us discuss. Okay, suppose there is a uniform rod kept on the smooth horizontal surface. Uniform rod of mass m, length L, kept on the smooth horizontal surface. Smooth horizontal surface. You remember that point. Okay. Suppose if it is that rod is made to collide with particle with certain velocity. Then what about the rod? The rod is made to collide with one particle with certain velocity. Then what about the rod? When you observe the rod, what happens to the rod? The rod may rotate. No. Suppose you keep the uniform rod on the smooth horizontal surface, and just by means of your finger, just you impulse to the rod at one end. Then immediately the rod will turn. No. That means rod acquires the rotatory motion. At the same time, rod travel through certain distance also. The center mass of the rod travel through certain distance also. That means whenever the rod is made to collide with a particle having certain mass, with certain velocity, or with certain momentum, then rod acquires translator motion as well as the rotatory motion. Is it process translator motion or rotatory motion? That depends on the point where the particle collides the rod. So we have to discuss that cases. Whenever collision between the particle and rod is elastic, inelastic, semi-elastic, and inelastic. When rod can move freely on the smooth horizontal surface. If the rod is suspended from one end, and if you make the rod to collide with the particle, in such case, if collision is elastic, inelastic, and semi-elastic, what about these things? So we have to discuss one by one. Okay. Right, I will discuss now what is ready. Okay. Now, so collision between particle and rod. Collision between particle and uniform rod kept on smooth horizontal surface. Kept on smooth horizontal surface. So collision between particle and the uniform rod kept on the smooth horizontal surface. Okay. Suppose one uniform rod of mass capital M and length L that is kept on the smooth horizontal surface. This is the uniform rod of mass capital M and length L. Here it is the center of mass of the rod. Midpoint of the rod is the center of mass because it is a uniform rod. So this is the center of mass of the rod, CM. Okay. Now here it is kept on the smooth horizontal table. This rod is kept on the smooth horizontal table. Okay. Is the loudness volume is properly sufficiently there to you or not? Is the volume okay? Both are okay. Adjust your Sriram. The volume is not low. I think I am speaking with maximum loudness, adequate loudness. Okay, Sriram, you adjust your system. Right. Right here you see, here rod is kept on the smooth. This rod is kept on the smooth horizontal surface. Horizontal surface. Okay, initially it is at rest on the smooth horizontal surface. Now this rod is made to in some strikes with a particle of mass small m, initially moving with a velocity say u1, u. Here this rod is made to here this particle also travel on the smooth horizontal surface only. Everything happens on the smooth horizontal surface only. Okay, whenever this particle travel with a velocity u along horizontal direction, and whenever it makes collision with the rod, here exactly this particle makes collision with the rod at this point. At this point. So here, whenever this particle makes collision, immediately the velocity of this particle changes and the rod starts motion. Here, whenever this particle strikes the rod here, immediately the velocity of the particle changes, and at the same time, this rod tries to turn like this. This rod tries to turn. After collision, the particle does not stick to the rod. Here, suppose the collision is elastic. In this first case, elastic collision. When elastic collision takes place between the particle and the rod, elastic collision. When elastic collision takes place between the particle and the rod, in this case, what happens? No doubt, whenever the particle makes collision here, then exchange of momentum takes place. Due to that, the velocity of the particle decreases and the velocity of this point of the rod increases. Initially, it is at rest. As initially rod is at rest, this point of the rod is also at rest only. But whenever this particle makes collision with this one, immediately this point starts motion with certain velocity in this direction. At the same time, as this particle exerts some force on the rod here, that force acts at the central mass, and central mass also travel in forward direction with a velocity VCM. With a velocity VCM, that is the V2. After collision, after collision, velocity of particle is equal to say V1. Velocity after collision, velocity of particle is V1. Velocity of center of mass is equal to VCM, that is equal to V2. VCM, that is equal to V2. Next, after collision, what is the velocity of that point where the particle strikes the rod? Suppose the particle strikes the rod at P. At this point P, what is the speed of the particle in the rod there at this point? So at the point P, after collision with particle, then what is the velocity of this point in the rod? That velocity is say V2 dash. That velocity is say V2 dash. Now, can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum on the rod? Can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum on the rod? Or can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum on the particle and rod? For the whole system, we can apply. Because whenever this particle makes collision with the rod, then force exerted by this particle on the rod is the internal force when you consider particle and rod as the system. That's why, according to law of conservation of linear momentum for the system, according to law of conservation of linear momentum for system of particle and rod, for system of particle and rod, comma, before collision, momentum of the particle is mu plus momentum of the rod is capital M into 0 because it is initially at rest. After collision, the momentum of the rod, momentum of the particle is after collision. Suppose the velocity of the particle becomes say v1. Okay, that's why m into v1 plus capital M into velocity of central mass, that is v2. Because we consider the translated motion only at first. So, because of translated motion, the velocity of central mass of the rod travel with the velocity v2. That's why here mu plus m into 0 is equal to m into v1 plus m into v2. That is equation 1. So, from this mu is equal to m into v1 plus capital M into v2. This equation, we can write this one equation, we can write like this. Next, here, whenever the particle makes collision with the rod, the particle does not stick to the rod. That's why center of mass of the rod lies here only. If the particle sticks to the rod, then in that case, center of mass of the rod and particle shifted. But here, as the elastic collision takes place, whenever the particle strikes the rod, then the central mass of the rod lies here only. That's why about the center, as the central mass is fixed, about the central mass of the rod, you apply the conservation of angular momentum. Because about the central mass of the rod, when you apply the law of conservation of angular momentum, first of all, can we apply or not? About the central mass of the rod, say it is O. About the central mass of the rod, whenever the particle makes collision with the rod, it gives the angular impulse to them, or it exerts some torque. Due to the torque, it will rotate about the central mass. But the torque is the internal torque. Because if you consider the entire system, particle and rod, then that becomes the internal torque. Due to that internal torque, the angular movement of the entire system does not alter. That's why we can, about the central mass, we can apply the law of conservation of angular momentum also. So about center of mass O, according to law of conservation of angular momentum of system. Okay, tell me about this O. What is the angular momentum of this particle? About this point O, what is the angular momentum of this particle? Suppose the particle strikes the rod at a distance, say h. Suppose the particle strikes the rod at a distance h or y, we can write whatever it may be. From the diagram, it is at a distance h from the center, from the center of mass. Then what is the angular momentum of the particle about the central mass of the rod? Tell me. Angular momentum means moment of linear momentum. That means momentum mu into perpendicular distance h. That's why mu into h is the angular momentum of this particle about this central mass before collision. Okay, plus angular momentum of this rod plus angular momentum of the rod means I into omega. Before collision, about the central mass moment of motion is ml square by 12. Okay, but there is no rotation before collision. That's why angular velocity is 0. So angular momentum of this rod is 0 before collision. After collision, as this particle after collision travel with a velocity v1, then angular momentum of the same particle after collision is equal to m into velocity of the particle into h. Because after collision, velocity of this particle becomes v1. That's why angular momentum of the same particle about the center of mass. Before collision, about which point we apply the conservation of angular momentum. Even after collision also, we have to apply the conservation of angular momentum about the same point. So after collision, angular momentum of this particle is mv1 into perpendicular mv1 because it makes collision here only. That's why after collision with what velocity from this point it starts small. This particle has velocity. So about as it is at the same distance mv1 into h plus it is the angular momentum plus angular momentum of the rod about the center. As about the center, as the rod turns like this, whenever this particle makes collision, then the rod turns like this. That's why angular momentum of the rod about the central mass is ICM. That means I naught into angular velocity omega. Because angular momentum of the any body is equal to, we can write I omega also. Okay. So because of that, the rod turns like this with angular velocity omega. So from this we can find, of course, this is one more relation. So mu h is equal to mv1h plus I naught into omega. Where I naught we can write, where I naught is equal to, about the central mass of the uniform rod, moment of inertia is ml square by solve now. So we can write ml square by 12. Okay. So this is one more formula we can write. Next. Here at the point P, according to Newton's law of restitution, because collision takes place now, Newton's law of restitution. E is equal to, general formula is E is equal to V2 minus V1 by U1 minus U2. V2, velocity of the rod at this point where collision takes place. After collision, velocity of this point of the rod is V2 dash minus V1. After collision, velocity of the first particle is V1 by U1 minus U2. U1 means velocity of the particle before collision, U, minus velocity of this point P of the rod before collision, means it is at rest. That's why 0. This is equal to 1 now, because the type of collision takes place here is elastic. That's why E is equal to 1. Okay. Now, based on this, we have to write. Based on this, we have to by using this formula, we have to substitute. By using this formula, we have to substitute. Okay. E is equal to E is the coefficient of restitution. No? E is the coefficient of restitution. Revan. Okay. In case of elastic collision, coefficient of restitution is 1. In case of elastic collision, coefficient of restitution is 1 only. No? That's why I substituted 1. Now from this formula, you see V2 dash minus V1 is equal to U. We can write now. What about V2 dash? If the velocity of center mass of the rod is equal to VCM, then what about this velocity? Whenever the particle makes the collision with the rod, then center mass velocity is VCM is in this direction. So each and every particle in the rod is having the same velocity. And about the center mass as it starts rotation, R omega is also there because of rotating motion. This point has velocity due to rotating motion also. Due to velocity of center mass VCM, this point has velocity V2 in this direction, and due to rotating motion also, this particle is having velocity V is equal to R omega. R means about this center mass as it turns like this, then R into omega. That means H omega. That's why V2 dash can be written as velocity of center of mass plus R omega means H omega. It is V2 dash minus V1 is equal to U. So VCM means that is equal to V2 only. Okay, VCM is equal to V2 plus H omega minus V1 is equal to U. This is another equation we can have. In this way, we can write the different formulas. Okay. Now, so by solving these three equations here, we can have V1, V2, omega also. We can have, because three variable unknowns are there, three equations are there. Definitely when you solve them, we can have V1, V2 and omega. If you know omega, you see initially the rod is at this position. Initially the rod is at this position before collision. Suppose whenever the particle makes collision with the rod, then immediately because of center of mass, because of velocity acquired by the center of mass, which is equal to V2, the center of mass travel through certain distance. Suppose in a time t seconds, the distance traveled by the center of mass SCM is equal to say VCM. VCM means V2 into T. Because velocity of center of mass is V2, no? That's why it travels in forward direction and at the same time it rotates like this. That's why distance traveled by the center of mass is equal to V2 into T. And after t seconds, the rod comes to this position. But at the same time, because of angular impulse received by the rod rotates, no? After t seconds, suppose with this angular velocity omega, the rod rotates. And in t seconds, suppose the rod rotates through certain angle theta. It is the position of the rod after t seconds. It is the position of the rod after t seconds, and it rotates about the center of mass. That's why center of mass is here. But with initially it is just like this, vertical. But in t seconds, because of angular velocity omega in this direction, it rotates through an angle theta. What is that theta? Theta is equal to, we can write here the point P. Here this is the point P, no? That point P lies here, say. That point P lies here. Okay, now through what angle the rod turns? That means theta is equal to, we can write omega into T. This is also one more equation. Now, after t seconds, initially the center mass of the rod lies at the origin. After t seconds after the particle makes collision, what are the coordinates of the point P? What are the x coordinate and y coordinate of the point P? They may ask. Suppose the x coordinate and y coordinates of point P are x comma y. What about x? What about x? You see, this is equal to SCM. What about this length? It is equal to h, no? This is equal to h. You see, the point P is at a distance h. Then, if it is theta, this is equal to theta. Then this is equal to h sin theta, no? This is equal to h sin theta. H sin theta. Therefore, x coordinate of the point P, x coordinates of point P are x is equal to this v2t plus h sin theta. v2t means v2 is the velocity of central mass only. Okay, so v2t plus h sin theta. Next, what about the y coordinate of the same point P after t seconds? Theta means omega t we have tried. Okay. Next, what is the y coordinate? If it is h, this is theta, no? Then this component is equal to h cos theta, no? That's why y coordinate is equal to h cos theta. These are the coordinates of the point P after t seconds. Whenever elastic collision takes place, what's parenthesis? What's parenthesis? What is our doubt? Am I wrote any wrong here on the board? Parenthesis, I will unmute you, speak with me. Parenthesis. Parenthesis.
Sir, there I not. Sir, there I not means
moment of about the center of the rod, midpoint of the rod.
Sir, we have to take from P, no, sir.
Yeah, take from
P point, no, sir.
No, about the center mass it rotates, no. Whenever this particle makes collision, immediately rod rotates about its center of mass. The rod rotates about the center mass of the rod only, because this particle does not stick to the rod. The particle does not stick to the rod. Okay, if the particle sticks to the rod, then about the center mass of the system of particle and rod it rotates. But here it does not stick to the rod because collision is elastic. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. So here, this is the case. It is the case whenever elastic collision takes place between the particle and the rod. So we can apply law of conservation of linear momentum about the center mass. We can apply law of conservation of angular momentum. We can apply Newton's law of restitution. So by that, whatever they ask, we can find. Okay. It is the case whenever rod is kept freely on the smooth horizontal surface and the particle makes collision, elastic collision with the rod at certain distance. Suppose if the collision is semi-elastic collision. If the collision is semi-elastic collision, what about the cases? If the collision is semi-elastic, shall I write this one? Shall I erase this one? So in this B, semi-elastic collision, semi-elastic. Okay, when semi-elastic collision takes place between the particle and the rod. In case of semi-elastic collision also, whenever particle makes collision with the rod, particle does not stick to the rod. Particle does not stick to the rod. In this case also, we can apply law of conservation of linear momentum for the system of particles like this only. So, you see, according to law of conservation of linear momentum for the system of particle and rod. Okay, here in the last case, it will change. That's all. Yes, up to this it is okay. Okay, you see here, whenever the particle makes semi-elastic collision with the particle, with the rod perpendicular to its length. Suppose with inclination it makes collision. With inclination, if it makes collision, then you take the component of velocity normal to its length only. Because the component of velocity parallel to its length, there is no change in the velocity of the rod or angular momentum of the rod. Only the component of velocity, component of momentum perpendicular to the length of the rod only there is a change in the momentum or angular momentum. That's why suppose it makes collision like this with inclination, then you take the component of velocity perpendicular to the length of the rod. That's all. Okay. Now whenever semi-elastic collision takes place here, according to law of conservation of linear momentum, we can write like this only. Mu is equal to mv1 plus capital mv2. Okay, from that mu is equal to, we can have mv1 plus mv2. Okay, now about the central mass of the rod, because the particle does not stick to the rod, that's why central mass of the rod lies here only. Okay, whenever the particle sticks to the rod, in that case central mass shifts, but as the particle does not stick to the rod, about the same point according to law of conservation of linear momentum, muh is equal to mv1h plus moment of inertia of the rod about the center of mass into angular velocity. Okay, from this I naught is equal to, of course, ml square by 12. Next, at the point P, according to coefficient of Newton's law of restitution, E is equal to okay, here is it. E is equal to velocity of this point of the rod after collision, v2 dash minus v1, that means velocity of the particle after collision, by u1 minus u2. u1 means velocity of the particle, minus u2 means velocity of this point of the rod before collision. That means it is 0 because it is at rest. Okay, from this that implies v2 dash minus v1 is equal to e into u. We can write v2 dash means, how we can write v2 dash is equal to velocity of the central mass plus h into omega. We can write now velocity of central mass means v2 plus h omega. Okay, minus v1 is equal to e into u. This is another equation 3 in this case. So by solving these equations, we can have by v1, v2 and angular velocity also. Okay, here this v2 dash, where v2 dash is equal to v2 plus h omega, we can write, or vcm plus h omega, both are same. vcm is represented as v2, h omega. Okay, this is 4. So by solving these formulas, we can have v1 v2 omega also. v1 v2 omega, that is only the difference. Suppose if inelastic collision takes place, what happens? That is important. Okay, shall I write this one now? Shall I write? Okay, so you see, next C. When inelastic collision takes place between the particle and the rod, inelastic collision. For inelastic collision means E is equal to 0, no? Okay, now, before collision, this is the rod. Here there is a particle here of mass m moving with a velocity u and makes collision. Okay. Here, mass of the rod is capital M, length capital M. It is before collision situation. Before collision. Before collision. So after collision, same central mass is here only. It is the central mass. So central mass is here only. But the particle, the central mass of the rod is here. But whenever it makes collision with the rod, then the particle sticks to the rod at this point. Initially, at what height the particle makes collision with the rod means that is H only. So the particle after collision sticks to the rod. This point P. The particle makes collision with the particle. The particle makes collision with the rod at this point P and sticks to it because of inelastic collision. This particle and this point of the rod both move together. Both move together with a velocity say v2 dash. V2 dash is equal to v1. After collision, velocity of the particle is v1 and velocity of this point is v2 dash. Next, after collision, velocity of central mass vcm is equal to v2. And about this point, it comes like this, it rotates like this with angular velocity omega. Okay, now according to law of conservation of linear momentum for the two body system, particle and rod. Tell me, along horizontal direction, linear momentum of the particle before collision is mu, and momentum of the particle is momentum of the rod is 0 before collision. After collision, momentum of the particle is m into v1 plus momentum of the rod capital M into VCM or V2. Capital M into VCM or V2. Okay. Now, in this case, what about the law of conservation of angular momentum? In this case, okay, we can apply law of conservation of linear momentum directly like this. But here you see, whenever this particle sticks together, whenever this particle sticks to the rod, then velocity of central mass of the system of particle and rod lies here. The velocity of the central mass of the particle and rod lies here. This is the new position of central mass. Now we don't write the central mass here because whenever the particle sticks to the rod, that is only the important point here. Whenever the particle sticks to the rod, then the entire system can be treated as a single body whose central mass lies here. Okay. Here now the velocity of central mass of the system, because both move together now, that's why velocity of central mass of the system is equal to V2C. Or you take velocity of central mass like this, that is enough. So after collision, velocity of central mass is VCM. After collision, velocity of central mass is equal to V2. And here, this particle is having velocity that is equal to say V2, V1 that is equal to V2 dash. Because velocity of this point is V2 dash. Velocity of the particle we imagine as V1, but both are equal because whenever this particle sticks to the rod, then this point travels with the same speed. That's why V1 is equal to V2 dash. Suppose here this is the central mass of the system. Now the central mass of the system is not here. Central mass of the rod is here. But whenever the particle sticks to this one, then central mass of the system of particle rod shifts to this point. So here, from the central mass of the system, at what distance this particle lies? That distance here, that is say y1, this is say y2. Okay, now We have to find those distances. We have to find those distances. This is say R1, this is say R2. R2. So what about R1 and R2? Tell me. Okay, it is equation 1. Mu is equal to M. Velocity of this part, velocity of both move together now. Whenever the particle sticks to the rod, then the entire system will travel with a velocity v2, VCM. That's what we can write directly. According to law of conservation of linear momentum, mu plus 0 is equal to, whenever this particle sticks to this one, then the entire system of particle rod move with velocity of center mass VCM. That's why small m plus capital M into VCM due to translative motion, VCM or V2. Okay, so mu is equal to m plus capital M into VCM. This is equation 1. This is equation 1. After collision, this particle sticks to the rod. After collision, this particle sticks to the rod. So both move together. That's why total mass m plus m I have taken. The rod rotates. Whenever the particle makes collision, definitely rod rotates like this with angular velocity omega. But immediately after collision, this is the position of the rod and the particle. So I applied the law of conservation of linear momentum for the system. Okay, before and after collision. Now, to apply the conservation of angular momentum about the center mass of the system, to apply the law of conservation of angular momentum about the center mass of the system is this one. This is a O dash. This point is a O dash. Center of mass of the system. This is the center of mass of the system O dash. Center of mass. And this particle is at a distance h. Okay. Now, what about R1 and R2? The center at the center mass of the rod alone, the mass lies here. Okay. The mass of the particle lies here. So here you see. At the center mass of the rod alone, the center mass of the rod lies at this point O. Okay. At the point P, the mass of the particle M that lies here. In between these two, what is the distance? Which is the distance between the two particles? Center mass of the rod and mass of the particle, that is equal to h now. The center mass of system lies here, somewhere here. Center mass of the system lies somewhere here. From the center mass of the system of particle and rod, the particle is at a distance r1. So this distance is r1, and this distance is r2. What about r1? Suppose in between, just you forget the diagram of this one. There are two particles having masses m and capital M. Center mass of system lies here. Then, at what distance from the particle center mass lies? R1 is equal to how much? R1 is equal to m2 by m1 plus m2 into r no. M2 means m by m1 plus m2 means cap, small m plus capital M into r. R is the distance between these two. That is h. Similarly, what about R2? R2 is equal to m1 by, that means m by m plus capital M into distance between these two. That is equal to h. We know these formulas. Okay, now you apply the conservation of, because apply the law of conservation of angular momentum here, we need this perpendicular distance. We need this perpendicular distance. That's why I calculated distance of this particle from the center mass of the system of particle and rod. Now you apply the law of conservation of angular momentum about the center mass of the particle and rod system. That means about O dash. So about O dash or center of mass of system according to law of conservation of angular momentum. Tell me, before collision, what is the angular momentum of the particle? Before collision, what is the angular momentum of the particle? Tell me. About the center mass of the system, what is the angular momentum of the particle before collision? Before collision, O dash lies here. So before collision, what is the angular momentum of the particle about the center mass of the system? Mu into R1. Yeah, very good. Mu into R1. Before collision, angular momentum of the particle about the center mass of system means from the center mass, momentum mu into perpendicular distance R1. Okay. Before collision, this rod has no angular velocity. That's why angular momentum is 0. After collision, what is the angular momentum of the system of the two? After collision, you see, particles stick to the rod. So about the central mass of the rod, the entire system rotates like this. That's why moment of inertia of the system. Previously, after collision, only the rod will rotate. Particle does not rotate. But in case of inelastic collision, particle sticks to the rod, and about the central mass of the system of rod and particle, the two together rotates. That's why moment of inertia of the system into angular velocity omega. So mu r1 is equal to r1 means we can substitute this one. I system means about the central mass of the rod. About the central mass of the system. Moment of inertia of the rod we had right. Moment of inertia of the particle we had right. So moment of inertia of the rod about O dash. How we can write? Tell me. About this O dash, moment of inertia of the rod means parallel to this axis passing through central mass of the rod. Moment of inertia ml square by 12 plus m into r2 square. Okay, that's why here we can write moment of inertia of the rod first. Moment of inertia of the rod means cap ml square by 12 plus m into distance between this point about which central moment of angular momentum is to be measured. Moment of inertia is to be measured into perpendicular distance square. That's why r2 square. It is the moment of inertia of the rod plus moment of inertia of the rod about this new central mass of the system plus moment of inertia of the particle about this point. As it is the particle mass into distance square, that's all. So small m into r1 square. It is the moment of inertia of the particle about the new central mass O dash into angular velocity omega. Into angular velocity omega. Okay, so this is one more equation we can write. Okay, or you say this is 2, this is 3. Next, at this point, how we can apply the Newton's law of restitution? According to Newton's law of restitution, at P, E is equal to general formula. At this point, velocity of this rod is v2 dash. V2 dash minus v2 dash minus v1. General formula is this one by u1 minus u2. That means u minus 0. As it is 0, it is equal to 0. Therefore, v2 dash minus v1 dash is equal to 0. V1 is equal to 0 or v2 is equal to v1. That means whenever the particle sticks to the rod, then at this point, velocity of the particle and velocity of this point of the rod both are having same velocity. V1 is equal to v2 dash. Already I wrote here. So we need not write this Newton's law of restitution for this. Okay, next in this case, as the collision is inelastic, there is a loss of kinetic energy of the system. There is a loss of kinetic energy of the system. What is the loss of kinetic energy of the system? Loss of kinetic energy of system or loss of energy of the system. Delta E is equal to, before collision only the particle is having kinetic energy. That's why half m into u square minus after collision, what is the kinetic energy of the particle, kinetic energy of the rod, and as they are rotating, this rod is having rotational kinetic energy also. So after collision, what about the kinetic energy of the system of particle and rod, and what is the rotational kinetic energy of the rod and the particle? Okay, so here it is the initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy of the system is the loss of kinetic energy of the system. So initial kinetic energy of the system means only the particle is having initial kinetic energy. Rod has no kinetic energy because it is at rest initially. Okay. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ నోట్స్ రొటేటివ్ మోషన్ నోట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో ఆల్రెడీ పెట్టే కదా నాన్న, ఫార్వర్డ్ చేశాక నేను ఫార్వర్డ్ చేయలేదా? ఓకే ఓకే, టుడే ఐ విల్ ఫార్వర్డ్. రైట్. సో లాస్ ఆఫ్ kinetic energy, I think I forwarded. Not forwarded. Right. I will forward to it. So loss of kinetic energy by the system is equal to half mv square minus kinetic energy of the system after collision. So kinetic energy of the system after collision means the because of translated motion, the kinetic energy of the central mass of the system of particle and this rod, that is equal to half into mass of the particle plus mass of the rod into velocity of central mass square. It is the kinetic energy of the system of particle and rod due to translated motion. Okay. Next, due to rotative motion, what is the kinetic energy of the system? Whenever the particle sticks to the rod, both will rotate. No, both will rotate about the central mass of the rod. That's why about the central mass of the rod, we have tried the moment of inertia of the system. Moment of inertia of the system we have tried. So half into moment of inertia of the system about central mass. Moment of inertia of the system about central mass into angular velocity square. This is the loss of kinetic energy. Similarly, in previous case also, in case of semi-elastic collision, in previous case also we can find the loss of kinetic energy, because in case of semi-elastic collision also there is a loss of kinetic energy. Initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy of the system means final kinetic energy of the particle plus rotation translational kinetic energy of the rod after collision plus rotational kinetic energy of the rod after collision. Okay, that is the loss of kinetic energy of the system in previous semi-elastic collision takes place. When inelastic collision takes place, it is the loss of kinetic energy. So in inelastic collision only, loss of kinetic energy will be maximum. But in case of in first case, as the collision is elastic, as Nikhil Teja, I already sent the notes to you in the last week only. I sent to you when we discussed the moment of inertia, etc. No, at that time only I sent total notes to you. Moment of inertia, different cases. At that time only 23 pages notes is there. Okay, right. Okay. Anyhow, I will send again. Okay, today I will post in YouTube. Right. Okay. So in case of inelastic collision, loss of kinetic energy of the system is maximum. In case of semi-elastic collision, there is loss of kinetic energy somewhat less compared with inelastic. But in case of elastic, there is no loss of kinetic energy by the system. Before collision, whatever the kinetic energy, even after collision also, the total energy of the system remains same, but they are distributed. Okay. So this is the different cases when collision takes place between the particle and the rod, which is kept freely on the rough smooth horizontal surface. Suppose if one end of the rod is fixed, the rod is hanging from one end, and the particle makes collision. If elastic collision takes place, what happens? Inelastic and semi-elastic collision takes place, what happens? We have to discuss. Okay. Right. Now, so this is one case. Next, collision between particle and uniform rod, which is suspended from one end. That is the case. Shall I raise this one? Shall I raise this one? Last equation, half mu square minus kinetic energy of the system, half due to translated motion, half m plus m into velocity of central mass square plus because of rotative motion, kinetic energy of the system due to rotative motion, half into I system about the center of mass into angular velocity square. Okay. In this week, you are having unit test now. Total rotative motion, I think moment of last week's syllabus and this week's syllabus. Total. Okay, next, collision between particle and uniform rod. So collision between particle and uniform rod, which is suspended, freely from one end. So when when a rod is suspended freely from one end and that is made to collide with the particle. If collision is elastic, what happens? Collision is inelastic, what happens? Collision is semi-elastic, what happens? Again, we have to observe the three cases. Yeah, unit test only. Last week syllabus and this week syllabus. Okay. Right. Next. Next one. Hussein, I said already I will upload in the YouTube. Okay. Why you are mentioned frequently? I will upload in the YouTube. Okay. Right. Now, first case, when collision is elastic. When collision is elastic. When elastic collision takes place between the particle and rod. Elastic collision. Suppose this is a uniform rod. It is hinged at one end. It is hinged at one end by means of a smooth hinge. There is no friction. It can rotate freely along in vertical plane like this. Okay. Mass of the rod is capital M and length is capital L. Okay, length is L. Okay, now one by means of a particle of mass small m. The particle of mass small m initially moving with a velocity u makes collision with a rod at this point, which is from the point of suspension. This particle makes collision with the rod at a distance equal to, say, h. Here, from the from the hinge or from the fixed end, about which it can rotate freely in vertical plane, the particle makes collision with the rod at a distance h from the fixed end. Okay. Now, whenever the particle makes collision with this one, immediately you see the central mass of the collision is elastic. That's why the particle does not stick to the rod. The central mass of the rod is known as particle does not stick to the rod. Then the central mass of the rod lies here only. It is the central mass of the rod. Okay, at O here this is the central mass of the rod. Now, whenever the particle makes collision here, then the particle exerts some impulsive force on the rod. Due to that, moment of the particle changes takes place and moment of the rod also changes takes place. But at the same time, whenever this particle exerts the force on this particle due to collision, this total rod tries to move in forward direction, but immediately the hinge prevents the motion of the entire rod in forward direction. Exert the reaction force on the rod in this direction. That is the normal reaction. That is normal reaction. So here, now, according to the law of conservation, can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum for this system? Can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum for this system? Can we apply the law of conservation of linear momentum for this system? Law of conservation of linear momentum means whenever no external force acts on the system, whenever no external force acts on the system, the total moment of the system before and after collision remains constant. But here, force act here, no doubt when particle makes collision with the rod, then this particle exerts some force on the rod. That is the internal force when you consider the particle and the rod. But at the same time, the hinge exerts the reaction force on the rod at the same now. Hinge is the third body. Hinge is the third body. That's why this normal reaction exerted by the hinge on the rod is the not internal force. It is an external force. That's why we cannot apply the law of conservation of linear momentum for this particle and rod system. Okay. In previous case, the rod is not hinged. No. In previous case, the rod is not fixed at any end by means of a hinge. The rod can move freely. That's why we applied the law of conservation of linear momentum there. But here, the hinge exerts the reaction force on the rod. Hinge means mass of the hinge, they cannot be given. Mass of the hinge means it is the wall. Hinge is fixed to the wall. So mass of the wall we have to give. That's why that will not be given now. That's why hinge information is not given. Hinge information is not given. That's why we cannot apply the law of conservation of linear momentum directly to the particle and rod system. Particle and rod system. Okay, now about the hinge. As normal reaction is not known, about the hinge, you apply the law of conservation of angular momentum. That's why there is no torque due to normal reaction. Only because of this particle makes collision only, angular momentum changes. Due to normal reaction, there is no change in the torque. As torque due to normal reaction is 0. That's why about hinge or about the point O, according to law of conservation of angular momentum. Tell me, before collision, what is the angular momentum of the system? About this hinge, before collision, this particle is having angular momentum mu into h. Mu into h. This rod is having no angular momentum, that is 0. So after collision, suppose the velocity of the particle becomes v1 and the velocity of central mass becomes say v2, which is equal to vcm after collision, and velocity of this point p is say v2 dash immediately after collision. Okay, then after collision, what is the angular momentum of the particle after collision? So angular momentum of the particle after collision is mass of the particle into velocity of the particle v1 after collision into perpendicular distance of this linear momentum from the hinge, that is equal to h only. So mv1 into h plus, as the rod rotates about this end only, there is a possibility for the rod rotates about this end only. About this end only, we are applying the law of conservation of angular momentum, not about the central mass of the rod as previous case. Okay, so about this hinge, what is the angular momentum of the rod? I omega. I omega means I hinge. That means moment of inertia of the rod about the hinge into angular velocity about the hinge. I omega. So I hinge into angular velocity. Okay, now this is one equation. Mu h is equal to mv1 h plus I moment of inertia of the rod about hinge into angular velocity. This is equation 1. Okay, now can we apply the law of conservation of energy principle here? Law of conservation of kinetic energy. Collision is elastic. Collision is elastic. Okay. So we can apply the law of conservation of energy. According to law of conservation of kinetic energy principle. According to law of conservation of kinetic energy. Before collision, kinetic energy of the particle is half m into u square plus kinetic energy of the rod is 0. After collision, kinetic energy of the particle is half m into v1 square plus kinetic energy of the rod means, as in previous cases, as the rod travel in forward direction, the rod is having kinetic energy due to translational motion, rotational kinetic energy due to rotative motion also. But in this case, there is no possibility for the rod to move in forward direction due to translational motion. About this end only, it rotates. That's why it is having only rotational kinetic energy. That's why half into moment of inertia of the rod half I omega square. Moment of inertia of the rod about the hinge into angular velocity square. This is another equation. So half mu square is equal to half m into v1 square plus half moment of inertia of the rod about the hinge into angular velocity square. This is equation 2. We can apply this one. Okay, next. Along the line of impact, because this particle makes collision with this rod at this point. Normally, that's why it is only line of impact. So along line of impact, according to Newton's law of restitution, E is equal to, at this point, well, final velocity of this rod at this point is v2 dash minus v1 velocity of the particle by initial velocity of the particle u minus initial velocity of this point p of the rod is 0. As collision is elastic, that is equal to 1. So what about v2 value here? What about v2 value? As the rod is having only rotating motion here, from this v2 dash minus v1 is equal to u. But here v2 dash is, as the rod is having only rotating motion about this end it is having velocity. The central mass does not move in forward direction. Due to rotating motion only central mass is having velocity, not due to translative motion. Okay, so v2 dash is equal to r omega. About this end, as this rod rotates, this point also rotates about this hinge in this direction. So v is equal to r into what about linear velocity? Suppose the angular velocity is omega there. Then linear velocity of this point about this hinge is equal to r into omega, means h into omega, no? That's why v2 dash is equal to h into omega. v2 dash is equal to h into omega. This is one equation 3. It is 4. In this way we can write. Okay. Here, about this hinge, as the rod alone rotates, it does not move in forward direction. That's why each and every part is having velocity due to rotating motion only. So this point is having, as the particle makes collision here, along the line of impact, to apply the Newton's law of restitution. This point, velocity of this point only we need. That is v2 dash. v2 dash is equal to r omega. About this hinge, this point move along the circular path like this, no? So about this point, the velocity of this point is equal to v is equal to r omega. R means radius of the circular path of this point, that is equal to h into angular velocity omega. About this hinge, it rotates with angular velocity, no? About this hinge, it rotates with angular velocity omega. What is the velocity of central mass? Velocity of central mass is equal to, as this rod rotates about this end, the central mass also move along the circular path like this. So radius of the circular path is equal to distance of central mass from the hinge, that is equal to L by 2 into angular velocity omega. That is the velocity of central mass. Okay. Next. Okay, these are the formulas. After collision, up to what, here we see, after collision, up to what height the rod rises. Because whenever the particle makes collision here, then immediately the rod starts rotation with angular velocity omega, and as long as the rod travels like this, the torque due to weight acts in opposite direction, and so that the angular velocity gradually decreases, and whenever it reaches certain position here, the angular velocity becomes 0. Before the angular velocity becomes 0, what is the angular displacement of the rod? That means we have to apply the conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy principle we have to apply after collision. Okay. Suppose after collision, you see, initial position of the rod just after collision is this one. After collision, suppose the rod rises up to displaces through certain angle and comes to rest. So here angular velocity becomes 0, but immediately after collision, the rod starts their motion with angular velocity omega. Before this rod comes to this position, angular velocity becomes theta. Because you see, whenever the rod displaces from vertical, immediately the torque due to weight mg, try to turn the about this point, the torque due to weight try to turn the rod in this direction, but rod moving this direction. That's why retarding torque acts on them due to weight. That's why the velocity of the rod, angular velocity of the rod gradually decreases, and whenever it reaches the position here, angular velocity becomes 0, and again they comes down like this. So what is the maximum angular displacement of the rod? That is say theta. Now here we see, initially rod is here, the central mass of the rod is here at this horizontal level. Whenever the rod makes an angle theta, the central mass of the rod at this position is here. This is the position of the central mass. That means up to what height the central mass rises, that is say y. At the central mass of the rod, the total mass of the rod can be imagined. Okay, now we apply the conservation of energy principle. According to law of conservation of energy principle, okay, immediately after collision, it is having only rotational kinetic energy. That rotational kinetic energy, according to law of conservation of energy principle, before the rod starts motion in this direction, then the rod is having only rotational kinetic energy. Moment of inertia of the rod about hinge. How we can write the moment of inertia of the rod about the hinge? Parallel to this hinge, axis through hinge, passing through central mass, moment of inertia ml square by 12 plus m into this distance square means L by 2 whole square. That is the moment of inertia of the rod about this hinge. This is hinge into omega square. It is the initial rotational kinetic energy. Whenever it reaches the point here, as angular velocity becomes 0, rotational kinetic energy is 0. But the central mass rises up to certain height now. That's why it gains some potential energy. That potential energy is equal to mass of the rod capital M into Z into up to what height the central mass rises means whenever the rod comes from this position to this position, central mass rises up to height y. So what is y? Where y is equal to, how we can write? It is L by 2. So the component of this one in this direction is equal to, this is equal to L by 2 cos theta. L by 2 cos theta. This y means it is L by 2 minus L by 2 cos theta. That's why L by 2 of 1 minus cos theta. So where y is equal to this one. We can use this formula also to find up to what angle the rod rotates. Means theta we have to find. Everything will be given. Everything we can find. Okay. E is equal to 1 now. Maheshwar Reddy. In case of elastic collision, E is equal to 1 now. In case of elastic collision, E is equal to 1. I wrote, you see, E is equal to 1. I have written. Maheshwar Reddy. Maheshwar Reddy, you respond immediately. E is equal to 1. I have written. Then we have only V2 dash minus V1 is equal to U only, no? Okay. Right. So this is the case. Next, when semi-elastic collision takes place, what happens? When semi-elastic collision takes place, what happens? Shall I write this part? So to find the normal reaction here, about the central mass of the rod, torque due to normal reaction try to rotate in this direction. Torque due to this particle rotates the rod in this direction, and torque due to this normal reaction, the rod about this point, the torque due to normal reaction acts in this direction. So torque due to normal reaction, torque due to this particle when it makes collision, that is equal to I into alpha. By using that concept, we can find the normal reaction also. So whenever problems comes, we will do that problem. We can find the normal action acts there. Okay. Next. Semi-elastic collision. Shall I write this part? Okay, next. Semi-elastic collision. Same case, but semi-elastic collision. Second one, semi-elastic collision takes place. Whenever the semi-elastic collision takes place, we can apply the, of course, law of conservation of linear momentum is not applicable here. Here also, law of conservation of linear momentum is not applicable. Not applicable. As hinge exerts the reaction force on the rod. On rod. Okay. Now about this point, you apply the law of conservation of angular momentum about the hinge. About hinge. According to law of conservation of angular momentum, of course, as usual, about this point before collision, angular momentum of this particle about the hinge is equal to mu into h plus angular momentum of the rod is 0 before collision. After collision, as the semi-elastic collision takes place here, after collision, the velocity of the particle becomes v1, velocity of the center of mass of the rod becomes say this one. Velocity of center of mass of the rod becomes VCM. Then, and angular velocity say omega. Then, angular moment of the same particle after collision is equal to mass m1 m into velocity v1 into perpendicular distance h plus moment of hinge of the rod about the hinge into angular velocity omega. So from this mu h is equal to m v1 h plus I hinge. That means moment of hinge of the rod about the hinge into angular velocity. This is equation 1. We can apply. Okay, next along line of impact. Here you see, this is the line of impact. No, this is line of impact. Okay, along line of impact. In previous class also we can write like this. Along line of impact, as the collision is semi-elastic, definitely coefficient of restriction is there. So E is equal to, tell me, velocity of this point after collision v2 dash minus velocity of the particle after collision v1 by u1 means u minus velocity of this point before collision is, as the rod is at rest, it is 0. Okay, that implies v2 dash minus v1 is equal to E into u. v2 dash minus v1 is equal to E into u. Okay, what about v2 dash? What about v2 dash? Tell me. What about v2 dash? What about v2 dash? H omega only, because it rotates about this end. That's why it is having only velocity v2 because of rotating motion. Radius of circular path of this point is equal to this distance, that is equal to h into angular velocity. So h omega minus v1 is equal to E into u. This is equation. Okay, this is about semi-elastic collision. Okay, next, if inelastic collision takes place, same concept but inelastic. Third one, when inelastic collision takes place between them. So whenever the inelastic collision takes place, definitely after collision the two particles stick together. The two particles stick together. Okay. The particle and rod stick together. Particles stick to the rod at this point. Okay. After inelastic collision takes place, come on, the particle sticks to the rod. The particle sticks to the rod at P. Okay, now about O or about hinge. About O or hinge. according to law of conservation of angular momentum. Tell me, before collision, angular moment of the particle is mu into h plus angular moment of the rod is 0. But after collision, as the particle sticks to the rod, after collision, as the particle sticks to the rod, then here moment of inertia I omega we have right. I means I system. I system, as the particle sticks to the rod, the particle and rod both move together with angular velocity omega. That's why moment of inertia of the system into angular velocity omega. So mu h is equal to moment of inertia of the system is about this point. The moment of inertia of the particle is m into perpendicular distance square. So mh square plus moment of inertia of the rod is m l square by 3. Because this rod rotates about one end now. That's why moment of inertia of the rod about this hinge or about the end is equal to ml square by 3 into angular velocity omega. This is equation 1. Okay, next, along line of impact. Along line of impact, coefficient of distribution, of course, inelastic means 0 only. E is equal to 0. That is equal to V2 dash minus V2 by U minus 0. 0. Therefore, V2 is equal to V2 dash. No, sorry, it is V1. No, it is V1. V1 is equal to V2 dash. V1 is equal to V2 dash, because after collision velocity of the particle is considered as V1. So V1 is equal to V2 dash. Okay. So these are the different cases. Whenever particle makes collision with a rod, which can move freely on the smooth horizontal surface. In such case, when elastic collision takes place, inelastic collision takes place, semi-elastic collision takes place, whatever the velocities, how we can write the conservation principles here. And whenever the one end of the rod is heated, then what about the these all cases we discussed. Okay. Putzmacher, what is your doubt? Putzmacher, I will unmute you. Tell me what is your doubt. Putzmacher.
సో ఒకసారి ఎంఎల్ క్యాపిటల్ ఎంఎల్ స్కోర్ బై 3 ఎందుకు వేసారో చెప్పరా?
Moment of inertia of the uniform rod about an axis passing through one end perpendicular to its length is what?
లాస్ట్ టైం ఎంఎల్ స్కోర్ బై 12 అని ఉంది.
About center, that is because the rod rotates about this end only in this case, because it is restricted to move, rotate about this end only. That's why about the end only we applied the conservation of angular momentum. But in previous cases, the rod rotates about the center of mass. That's why about the center of mass I have written moment of inertia ml square by 12 there.
Okay, sir.
Okay. If we suspended this rod with string, then about this point you have to apply the law of conservation of angular momentum like this. The rod, entire rod will move like this. Okay, at the same time, about this point also it turns like this. So, from the point of suspension, we can apply the law of conservation of angular momentum. First of all, okay. String slacks means whenever this rod goes above this point of suspension, in such case there is a possibility for the string to slack. In vertical circular motion, whenever the string becomes slack, already we did that problem now, in case now. So here we have to apply such case only. Okay. Next, some note points. What is the time? Okay, 28 minutes. Note point. Suppose one rod is suspended. Note 1. One rod is suspended above the hinge. Length of the rod is L, mass capital. Length of the rod is M, mass capital. Length of the rod is L, mass capital. Okay. It is suspended at the end P. Here, if right. Are you hearing now? Are you hearing now? Okay. Right. Here, the rod is suspended by means of a smooth hinge at the instant whenever force is applied at this end. The force is applied at this end. At that time, what is the normal action exerted by the hinge? At the instant whenever force is applied and the rod is vertical, at that instant, the force acts on the rod along horizontal axis is equal to F minus N. That is equal to mass of the rod into acceleration of center of mass. Okay, now apply the torque principle also about hinge. About hinge. T. Torque tau is equal to about hinge means due to normal action, no torque acts. So about the hinge torque means only due to applied force. So applied force F into distance, the perpendicular distance of the force from the axis of rotation, that is equal to L. That is equal to I alpha. I means about this point P only. Moment of hinge of the rod about the point P into angular acceleration alpha. So FL is equal to IP means ml square by 3. About this point P, angular moment of hinge of the rod is ml square by 3 into what about angular acceleration? What is the angular acceleration? what is the angular acceleration of the rod here? From this alpha is equal to, we can write L square cancel, then 3F by M into L. This is equation 2. Here, but acceleration of central mass ACM is equal to R alpha, we can write now, R alpha. R means radius of circular path of the central mass, this midpoint, that is equal to L by 2. That's why L by 2 into alpha. That is equal to L by 2 into alpha means 3F by M into L. That is equal to 3F by 2 into capital M. This is the acceleration of the center of mass. It is the acceleration of the center of mass. Now you substitute this value in equation 1. 3 in 1 gives 3 in 1. F minus N is equal to M into ACM. ACM means 3F by 2 into capital M. M cancel. Therefore, N is equal to F minus 3F by N is equal to F minus 3F by 2. F minus 3F by 2. So N is equal to minus F by 2. Minus sign represents the normal reaction is opposite to the applied force. Already we have taken this direction. So F is equal to in this direction. So we have taken in opposite direction. Okay, at this instant, what is the reaction force exerted by hinge on the rod means we got minus sign. Already by taking this normal reaction in this direction, we have obtained the value, but we got minus sign. That means force exerted by the hinge on the rod at this end is towards right only. Therefore, normal reaction or hinge exert the force. Hinge exert the force on the rod equal to F by 2, but towards right. At that instant, towards right. Okay, these are the topics. So based on related to these topics, you have to do the problems today. Based on these problems, you have to do problems. Okay.